Co-creating impact. Hi there, I'm Lori with Co-Creating Impact and itstimesunshine.com with our friend and co-host Liquidshano.
That's me. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you? I adore you. I love coming into your lives. You give back beautifully. I was in the restaurant business for forever, I told you, and just seeing how you give back and the avatars that you're doing. Are you still doing all that?
Yeah. So, I started this whole entire social media process. It started off with a blogging back in the day. To be honest with you, it all started with me wanting to lose weight. So I was blogging about losing weight. Then it became more about mental health. And then it became more about trying to be able to be the best version of myself. Then it became more about me giving back. So it's evolving all the time, but I am still doing the avatars. I'm still doing a lot of different things that I can give back to the community. I give back to different people. So, and it's just a way to live. It's a way to be able to invest in myself, invest in society. So yeah, I'm still doing those and really just having a great time doing it. There's one of the things that really came up around the avatars was this. What I love about the avatars is I can not only take money from folks to be able to pay it forward for the people in the restaurant business and people that have been affected by COVID, by all this different stuff that haven't been able to even pay their bills or put food on their table, but I'm also able to. The part that I didn't expect to happen was the amount of people that have received the avatars that get these images of themselves and the impact that that's had. These people are literally saying to me, I haven't felt beautiful in years, and you made me beautiful. You painted, or like they would say, you paint a picture of me that I haven't felt that way in so long. So I'm proud to wear this on my profile or on my Facebook or on my TikTok or whatever. And it opened my eyes to be in the fact of it's a two-way giving back effort for me. Or three-way, really, when you think about it. I'm giving to somebody by giving them financial money. I'm giving somebody an avatar to make them feel good about themselves, and I'm giving to myself because I'm investing in both of these people. It's a three-way approach to say that I'm giving back kindness to the world, and I love it.
Yes, and the thing is that you accept like what's $25 donation or more and to do the avatar, but then all that money goes towards a pot. You get enough money for a pot, and then you go out to the service industry. You're having a dinner at a restaurant or something, and you give somebody a huge tip, and it's
Correct.
so touching to see that.
Yeah.
It is like, yes, I would have loved to have been in those shoes when I was serving,
Well, my wife and I, we spent many years. We've been together for over 20 years, and all of our lives, except for probably the past maybe eight years or so, we were in the service industry. I was a bartender and she was a waitress and vice versa. And I worked at the door and she worked in the bar. So we did all kinds of different things to be able to be part of the industry. And so even during regular times when we're not in the middle of COVID or economic downstrife and all that stuff, it's still a difficult job to be a part of. I mean, you're literally pouring yourself into your customers and they're looking at you with a $1 tip or a no tip or whatever else. And they're treating you like garbage sometimes. And I'm just like, I can't be, I don't like dealing with that. And I know that I want to give back to these folks that I know are working their tails off every single day.
Everybody should work in the restaurant business, I think, in my opinion. That's just me. And you have a teenager. Tell us what you're going through. I know he is close to that driving age. What's going on?
Yeah, I put a couple posts out about it. It was funny when he was first going to driving school and he was driving off out of our driveway with somebody else in the car. And my wife and I just sat in the window and we were kind of waving to him going, what's going on? Because I only have one kid and he's our pride and joy. He's our 15-year-old. He's he's into football, he's into all kinds of stuff, girls, whatever else you can think of. The kid's just blossoming into the teenage normal mode. But when we realized that we got to the point and moment that we were watching him drive down the road, we said, oh no, this is actually happening, that he's becoming a young adult and he's growing up too fast. And so we wanted to put the brakes on it so quickly, but we couldn't do it. And, we're just sitting there going, okay, we got to embrace it and be able to, wrap our arms around it and understand that so many people go through this with their children as they get older. And I've leaned in on some of those folks that have been through it already to be able to help me also get through it myself. It's a difficult thing when you see your baby getting into a vehicle and saying, oh, wait a minute, he's driving a vehicle, a 5,000-pound vehicle from place to place, not only for safety reasons that I'm nervous, but also that's my baby boy. You know what I mean? So it really it gives perspective a lot of times when that
Oh
happens.
my gosh. Yeah. How does he handle the, is he hybrid or is he all virtual learning?
Yeah, he's hybrid right now. Since they came back from Christmas break and a little bit before that too, they were he's online Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's a half day on Wednesday, and then he's in person on Thursdays and Fridays. So they alternate where they take half the school on the Mondays and Tuesdays, send them home, and then vice versa. But it isn't really the school part of it that's really affecting him as much as I think the sports related stuff is, because he's a football player and he loves playing football and he loves working out with the team. He loves being a team leader, and he's a firecracker and he's a go-getter. And when you can't be around the people that you love being around and working out with and building that camaraderie that you normally would your freshman, sophomore, and junior years, that's really a detriment, right? And one of the things that I say in all of my lives and including all of my podcasts, I say there's two areas of society that we're going to have to look at completely across the board that we're going to have to dive into and understand and help and lend a hand to across the board. That's our frontline healthcare workers, right? Our frontline workers that are dealing with it every single day, that are holding people's hands as people are passing on Facebook and on FaceTime and all these things that they're going through. The PTSD aspect, the mental aspect of what they're going to have, what they're going through, is going to be something we're going to have to dive into. That's going to be long-term effects of what we're doing. And our children, we don't think our children are that affected because we have a bubble, but it's extremely impactful to our children on how they don't have social interaction, don't have sports, don't have all these things, and their lives that they figured they would be in high school, building relationships and those kind of things, those are gone. And literally we're like, what do we do? So we're going to have to think about those things as we come out of everything,
Oh, for sure. And the biggest thing I think is the camaraderie with the other kids. And we have a kiddo that he goes to in class with, and he lives in our neighborhood. And so we do some things with that kiddo, because I have an only child also, and he's 10. And so, we're at least able to do a little bit there, but you can see it. We do the hybrid too, 2 days a week, and you can totally see it in their mannerisms and their, it's like the schoolwork is a piece of cake to him. He just flies through it. And then it's like, okay, now what? And so we do a lot more outings. We do a lot more things, where we can learn outside of the schoolwork. He's in school today, and it's just, it's amazing that I think the avenue that we're going to have to take with the mental health aspect of things, and not only peer helping, just being on TikTok is so helpful to be able to talk things out with other people, but also, therapy. Hopefully there'll be more therapists in the world, and getting back to that.
Who would have thought that with TikTok? Who would have thought that? Like literally, like this morning, just on my live this morning, I had 3 or 4 people all say to me while we're in live, and I've got like 35 people in there. We're all talking about everything. And I've got these people that are in there going, you understand that you're my therapy, right?
Yes, TikTok therapy. I always say it, TikTok therapy.
Person that I'm leaning in on, that I'm going to be I need to kick my day off on the right foot. I had a bad morning. So now I'm in the right place because I'm here with you, listening to a good song, having a cup of coffee, and listening to somebody talk about their own experience. I was like, I never would have thought that this avenue would have taken place for me in the TikTok world. I went on there originally because I wanted to keep an eye on my 15-year-old kiddo to see what he was doing on TikTok, because he was scouring it all the time. And I pop on there, and next thing you know, a year later, I've got this huge community of people that I love to be around. That's my hip pocket family, and I love everything about it.
I love that that term that you coined, and we use it all the time because it's true. I mean, we have grown into this one big happy family, and it's not, it is the thing about talking about everybody's day and what's going on, and you hear other stories and you're like, oh yeah, I went through that too. I'm not alone, and this just feels good to be able to, hey, cheers, man, here we are with some good tunes. Speaking of my Gen X friend, you're live on Tuesday nights with those songs. I love everybody's recommendations. They're all Gen X lovers, and it's awesome. We would think TikTok would be nothing but a bunch of 18-year-olds. No, sir. Here we are, Gen X.
I agree 1,000%. And what's funny is that I love the fact that we embrace it and we love it. And for a while there, when I first got on there, I remember hearing some of the comments from a lot of the kids going, what are these older people coming in here doing whatever? And I'm like, okay. But now what you see, of course, we've already patterned the whole entire algorithm for ourselves and what we like to watch. But I love the fact that I see everybody my age that's out there just trying to be the best version of themselves, trying to, spread kindness, positivity. You see so many different factions of people going forward of just trying to be great and good to people. It's amazing to me, the movement that it's causing, and it's incredible to me, and I love everything about it.
And how it opens our own minds and our own hearts. Because when I first got on there, no way would I have been doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still expanding, I'm still growing, I'm still doing things that that are outside of my box. No one in my Facebook or Instagram or my real life world sees these things unless I post them there. And so it feels like it's an expansion of making me want to grow and be better human being for myself, and to backpedal and give back to others in a bigger way. And it does. It helps tremendously to see everybody on there giving back.
Right. And I also love the fact that it gives me permission to be silly sometimes. Listen, I'm 47 years old. I'm a dad. Well, until very recently, I was a 15-year long-time area manager for this company. I had to be very business professional, very business savvy and stuff like that. And so I had to hold myself to a certain standard all the time. So this gave me the ability, nothing inappropriate, just to be silly. I mean, right now I'm doing a series on there that has a picture of a cookie that has a face of me that somebody did for me, that I'm having the adventures of Cookie Face, that I don't really care. I'm just having fun, and people are joining in going, I love Cookie Face.
I know. And I'm like, eat the darn cookie. We love your face. Eat the Mad Libs. We love your face, but eat the face. I love that.
It gives me permission to maybe, and it's therapeutic in a way, right? It's therapeutic in a way because we're so bogged down with everything that's going on, whether it's politically, racially, across the board, disease, everything else in the world. It gives me an outlet for me to be able to escape that realist, like all that stuff that's going on, for me to be able to escape it and get out there and just be silly and maybe make someone smile a little bit and just have a little bit of fun, you know?
And bring us back into our childhood, because how many times when we were a kid that mom said come in and we're like, oh man. Right. I mean, how many times as an adult do we get to do that? Not often, but we're on TikTok, we're like, oh man, I want to see this more, let me look.
So true.
Now tell me, I know that you were in the military. What branch in the military were you?
I was in the Navy. I did 11 years in the United States Navy as an electronic technician, and saw 48 countries, and been around the world, and wouldn't be the man I am today unless it was the time that I spent in the military. Earlier, when you said I wish that everybody would have experience being a server or some sort of restaurant business or some sort of service industry job, I feel the same way about the military, because I feel like you will get a different perspective in life in general, not only with other places that you go and you see other countries that are less fortunate than we are, or you see other places that we help to protect and be able to bring peace around the world, but also back home, with the amount of stuff that I did, when you learn to work with other individuals that you may have differences with, or you may not get along with, or anything like that, you learn to work very quickly, because now this is a brother or sister that's working side by side with you. And no matter what your differences are, your life is in their hands, and my life's in your hands, back and forth. You learn really quickly how to be able to work together and become somebody that embraces differences and is able to move forward. So
I agree. That is fantastic. And thank you for your service. And I totally agree with that wholeheartedly. And to be able to work with others, a lot of times you hear of self-proclaimed military brats who grew up that way and had to go from school to school to school, right, and have to take on that too. And I went to a lot of different schools growing up also. So to be able to have a communicate and to be able to talk to an array of different people from different backgrounds and different parts of the world. And that's TikTok again, being able to talk to people from all around the world. It's a really fantastic, I can't say good enough things about it. And then your wife, how did you guys met in the restaurant business, right? And you've been married how many years?
Yeah, I was twilighting while I was in the military. I was in the Navy up in Cutler, Maine, way up top north part of Maine, and I got stationed at the small little station, but I was doing a night gig as a doorman at a bar, and she was the bartender. And so we had met each other here and there, when she was working there, but I was always working at the door, and it was kind of a rough crowd in the small towns up there. They were all coming there to drink and party and get crazy. So I was always kind of taking all the roughhousers away. But we met through a friend, and the friend set us up one night, and we just kind of started dating, and we've been together now for 22 years. 22 years we've been together, married just about 20. So.
Wow, congratulations. That's fantastic. One quick thing before we have to go. Tell a quick version of Liquidshano.
What's that? Say that one more time. I didn't hear it.
Quick version of how it came about as your name being Liquidshano.
Oh, yeah. Real quick. Yep. So basically, I was a bartender. I was at a bar. I was in Massachusetts, and I used to have this one guy that lived right down the road. So he was walking distance from the thing, but he would always come in there, drank way too much, always was a drinker. And he came in every single night, always ordered the same things all the time. So we'd always serve me, sit in the little corner of the bar. So one night he came in, and he called me. he looked at me, he saw my, because I have a bald head. I have my head shaved, and I've had it since I left the Navy. But he said to me, he goes, literally, he was trying to say Mr. Clean because of the bald head. He was trying to call me Mr. Clean, but instead he said Liquidshano. And he kept on saying Liquidshano, Liquidshano. People like, what? All my friends were like, what is this guy talking about, Liquidshano? And then all of a sudden, some of the girls on the servers on the other side go, oh, so now your name is Liquidshano, my pal, my friend, because that's exactly what it is. So from that point forward, that's been my nickname for over 20 years.
20 years. I love it.
Yeah, my nickname's always been Liquidshano.
You are fantastic. I love your soul. You are Liquidshano on podcast. You've got a blog. You've got it all going on. I'll have all the links everywhere. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming on, Shane. I really appreciate you.
No problem. It's my pleasure. It was great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye. Brought to you by breaktherage.org and itstimesunshine.com, finding resources for health and mental wellness.